Good morning, CLC. I invite you to take this moment to just relax. Still your body, calm your mind. Anything you have going on, just put it aside for now. If you feel so inclined, take this moment to take a nice, deep breath. Breathing in cool, calm, cleansing air. And as you release the breath, release any stress or tension or anything that no longer serves you. Just let it go for now. I invite you to take another nice, deep, cleansing breath. And as you release this breath, allowing your body to relax, allow your mind to be here, now. Universal love enfolds me. Universal wisdom inspires me. Universal spirit enlightens me. Universal power encircles me. I am one, and all is well. As we begin this inner healing process, let me invite you to relax in quiet confidence, opening yourself to the miracle-working higher power. Now symbolize the unity of your thinking and feeling nature by touching your chest with your hand, and let my words act as your own for your own inner healing, acceptance, and receptivity. I acknowledge that there is a power, intelligence, and wisdom greater than my own. I am in the midst of it, and it is in the midst of me, sensitive and responsive to my every thought, word, action, and feeling. I now make this true for myself by saying aloud, I acknowledge. Acknowledging this higher power working through my life, I admit that I am personally responsible for solving my own problems while being guided and assisted by something greater than myself. As I am ready to surrender the conflicts of my ego to the wisdom of this infinite presence, I simply speak these words. I surrender. Knowing that forgiveness is the key to unconditional love and the feeling of heaven, I now unconditionally forgive anyone and everyone who has ever injured me in any way, real or imagined. And I now forgive myself for all of my mistaken judgments and their resulting actions. From my deepest level of understanding, I now say, I forgive.
I forgive.
Realizing that I continually experience the effects of my own thinking, I now choose to allow this higher power to recreate me deeply, filling my mind with thoughts that are only positive, constructive, loving, and beautiful. I call upon this divine inflow by stating aloud, I choose. I now center upon that one special idea that I'm willing to accept as real for me in this coming week. Visualizing that idea as already acted upon and brought to pass. In seeing my idea become a fact of my experience, I enjoy the happiness and peace of my thought fulfilled and gratefully speak these words. I accept. Knowing that I have an everlasting place in the midst of the power that sustains all creation, as well as the support of all those around me, I allow myself to relax in the peace of fulfillment and gratitude and say, I release.
I release.
Now, in my mind's eye, I envision the presence of someone near and dear to me. This can be a friend, a family member, a teacher or mentor, someone who has touched my life in deep and loving ways. Someone who may not be physically present in the room with me this morning. I turn toward that image in my mind's eye and say, I'm grateful for the good in your life.
I'm grateful for the good in your life.
Now I open my eyes, turn to the world around me, and joyfully speak to anyone physically present in the room or virtually on this broadcast, and share in confidence and gratitude in saying, I'm grateful for the good in your lives. Welcome again, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It is so wonderful to see all your smiling faces.
Thank you. Thank you. He is fantastic. I love his work. And what I'm doing here today is wrapping up this series based mostly on the Beverly Hills Lectures by Ernest Holmes. And one of the book studies that we have going on is on that book, and it's going to continue even though we're finishing with the book in the Sunday time slot. Sarah Westbrook leading that group on what night is it? Wednesday nights. Yeah, on Zoom. Next week I'm going to start a series based loosely. All my series are loosely based. You know this if you've been coming. They're not tightly based, they're loosely based. On a book recommended to me by the illustrious Jeffrey Oshman some years ago called The Laws of Manifestation by David Spangler. Yeah, he's giving it a big thumbs up. So's David back there. It's one of the best, certainly one of the best recent books on prosperity from a spiritual vantage point, if not one of just the best books on that, like ever. And so that will happen on the 4 Sundays in August, including next week, Luna Sad week. We're all learning to say that word. And it was interesting as Danielle was doing the announcements, I was sitting there and I heard Lisa's voice. I heard Minister Lisa's voice saying, this is the, she wasn't actually speaking, this is in my head. I heard her saying, this is the celebration of the first fruits of the harvest. And I think Danielle actually did say that. But why I'm bringing that up is because the last time she said that, or would have said that I would have heard it, would have been a year ago. And it's like, are we there already again? Yeah. And then I realized that things like first fruits of the harvest suggest, oh, cool weather. So this is a longing kind, this is an affirmation of autumn. It's going to come after this that we have here today. But what I wanted to share with you today is on the question, and I love answering questions that no one has asked. Lots of people have never asked me this question. Is cosmic consciousness useful? It's the last chapter in the Beverly Hills Lectures, this thing about, but you don't have to read the book to understand what cosmic consciousness is or to take an interest in it. Cosmic consciousness, I'll tell you what it is and then spend 30 minutes defending that. The cosmic consciousness is the recognition of the oneness of everything, that the universe is one whole system, fully present at every point within itself. Fully present at every point within itself. There is a famous quotation kicked around for centuries, attributed initially to St. Augustine, except you can tell when it's probably not somebody's quote when it doesn't mesh with anything else they ever said. It's been attributed to Voltaire. It's been attributed to this one. No, nobody knows for sure. Lisa's probably looking for it right now, except she doesn't know what the quote is till I say it, which is, right, that God, or the source of all being, is a circle whose center is everywhere, whose circumference is nowhere. God is a circle whose center is everywhere, whose circumference is nowhere. And right away, nuts and bolts start falling out, because it's like, wait, I don't know anything else like that. See, we humans work often by association. So if I'm trying to describe an apple to you, I'll say, well, it's like an orange, except it's red and it tastes different. And the skin's not as thick. And the seeds aren't as big, and so on. And, you know, okay, yeah, limes and lemons are easier. But we look at things in association to other things. Are you shopping for a new toaster? Well, there are 4-slice ones and 2-slice ones, and one's made of ceramic. One, you get the picture. But when I say that God is a circle whose center is everywhere, whose circumference is nowhere, there's nothing to relate that to. Because nothing else is like that. Because what we're describing here is an infinite system. An infinite system that also is fully present at every point within itself. That is not only fully present at every point within itself, but is so simultaneously. It doesn't just like whip around real fast from point to point. It is fully present at every point within itself simultaneously forever. When you look at that I just described, nuts and bolts do fall out your ears, and this is called the mystical experience. And it's been described as Saul on the road to Damascus with his conversion experience, people falling off horses, or the scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark where the bad guys open the Ark of the Covenant. You with me?
Yes.
Okay. So this is alarming and off-putting many times to people. They'll say, well, I'm interested in spiritual studies, but not to that extent. Take me so many levels in, but not there. So what I'm here to do today is detoxify the question. Spiritual knowing of the source of your own being will not kill you. It won't even hurt you. It may stun you a little, but a lot of stuff does, and not in a good way. And this will in a good way. Are you stunned by worry? Are you stunned by the news? Are you stunned by the passage of time, the shortage of cash, the absence of friends? Are you stunned by any life conditions like this? They disappoint you, they disillusion you, they grind you down. You look into the heart of the universe and it will stun you in the opposite direction, into the truth and the magnificence of your own being as a spiritual entity in this world at this time. And it will become immensely practical for you. And it can even put friends in your life, money in your pocket, food on your table, and ideas in your head, and all the rest of it. Because it's a context in which to view life. See, we come and go with this in this teaching, topically, from real practical stuff like things you can do today to have a better day, all the way out to what is the meaning of everything. And the two questions are related and, in a way, even interchangeable. Because how to have a better day today is to realize that you're more than you seem to be. And when you look into the heart of the universe, you realize that you're more than you seem to be. We are more than we appear. We are more than we appear because we come out of the unseen realm into the seen, into the perceived realm here, where we all agree that we're here and we do a head count and everything, back into the unseen. And that which we seek that we do not presently experience is coming out of the unseen. So if you want to have some hope and faith and trust about that it's coming to you, you need to learn how to look into the unseen. It's like getting your eyes adjusted to the dark. To look into the big picture of how all things connect together. A lot of people in the last few weeks have just lost their minds over the Webb Telescope and the pictures that it's bringing. Myself, the Monica Webb Telescope, that it's bringing. She's right there. She invented it. She created it. She says, it's all about me. Right? We are so honored to have you here. We realize you could be in any room this morning, but you're here with us. It's great. But those pictures, why do we feel the way that we feel? When you see pictures like that and they're colorized by AI, there's, oh man, I wish it really looked like that, but this is some artist surrendering. Then when you see pictures like that and you're told these are not photoshopped, these are not adjusted, this is actually what this thing is sending back. There's this elation that comes up in me anyway, and I think in others too. There's this amazing feeling of, I'm from there. That's part of my home. That's a room in my house. That's what that is. You see? In my house there are many mansions. In my Father's house there are many mansions, and that's one of those. That's one of those mansions. I belong to that. I don't know where I'd put it if it showed up. It's the logistics of the thing, but this is part of me. This is what we're seeking. This is what our human community has been seeking forever, is a sense of that kind of context, that I belong to a meaningful, orderly, purposeful, and also beautiful universe from which I can receive ideas and inspirations to further my own particular goals and to be more fully alive and more fully present in the world as me. So how do we get to this cosmic consciousness? I think it's more likely, or a better question, how do I not fend it off? Because we tend to fend it off. It's seeking entry into ordinary consciousness constantly, and we have to work really hard to fend it off. So we let go. We surrender to it. And we say, show me who I am, which has been our goal this summer, and still is, because summer isn't over, and nor will the goal really ever be. I want to know more of who I am, and I want to know that other people know more of who they are. I'm going to know within myself that everyone around me knows more of who they are. When you ask a question like that, you get an answer. You get to know something about yourself. You get to discover talents and abilities you didn't know you had, and outlets for those talents and abilities, not just stuff that's done in isolation, but ways that you can share yourself in the world in really powerful ways. So I was teaching, I want to tell you a little about my week. I know you came here today specifically so you could hear a little bit about Jesse's week. Hang on, my keys are biting my microphone. You don't want that happening under your shirt when you're speaking. I taught 2 online classes this week. We had a board meeting that was wonderful, talked to a whole bunch of people, did a lot of writing. The highlight of my week, professionally, emotionally, was on Wednesday at 2 o'clock. I got on Zoom and I got to lead a meditation on peace and freedom for a group of religious science practitioners in Ukraine. As a matter of fact, half of them were actually are still at this time in Ukraine, in country. And the other half are 4 are in Poland, 1 is in Greece, and one is on the island of St. Lucia in the Caribbean. I did this through a translator. It's a beautiful language, Ukrainian. I'd not heard much of it, like hardly ever, and it was gorgeous. And I don't know what I said because I just closed my eyes, and I don't like to script things like that, so I just gave him about a 15-minute kind of meditation on peace and freedom. And a couple of days later, I got a text from the person who'd set this up saying, here's a picture of some of the children of these practitioners who heard that meditation, and here's the that this was going to come to me to do this. I didn't know that the opportunity was going to open up for something like this to happen, not just this week or this year, but in my lifetime. But in my lifetime. And why it did was something was occurring through me that they wanted to hear, that they needed to hear. And something was occurring through them that I needed to be in the presence of. And all that happened was kind of when you put yourself out there, and I know you know this, because I know most of you, and I know your stories, most of them. And I know ways that you have put yourself out there this way and shown up in the right place at the right time to be an agent of spirit, an agent of healing. Whether it's a formal setting or it's just a passing conversation that you have. I was telling another group of people kind of an oblique story about somebody here at the center who years ago came up to me one day and told me that they had had a chance encounter in the parking lot of their apartment complex with somebody, and they didn't know who somebody just walked up to them and said, "Do you have a minute?" And they sat down with this person, and it turned into an hour or more, and a huge transformative experience occurred in all the ways that we're told not to have it happen. God don't talk to strangers. In an apartment complex or anywhere else, certainly don't sit down on a curb with them, and we have to be afraid and on guard against each other because you never know what people want from you, and this person just disregarded all of that good advice. And as a result, had a life-transforming experience, not only for herself, but for the person that she was talking to. This is why we're here. This is what it's all about. And I cannot stress strongly enough that each of us has that message individually, sculpted by our experience, our own process. You might think, gosh, I'm an unworthy vessel for divine wisdom because I have a past. Everybody has a past. You might be a little dinged or dented, or all of us are, and I'll never forget when Connie Mims was here one time as guest musician. She told a little story from the stage. She said that in ancient someplace, Greece or Phoenicia or somewhere, they had made these elaborate urn-type vessels to carry water, and water was a big deal, fresh water, drinking water, you know. And so they made these things, these pots, and they carried them. And whenever they sprung a leak, figure out what to do about it. And the best thing they found was that in the creek beds where they were getting the water, there was this substance that was so useful for patching the pots. And they'd slather it on there and it would dry. And it wasn't until a whole long time later when some of these pots began to show up in museums and antiquities dealers, they realized that that substance was gold. It was taken out of the creek bed. And so the story, as she managed it, you know, was the places where you're broken are healed with gold, are healed with a more precious substance than, shall we say, the ordinary reality of life. Our woundedness, the healing of our woundedness transforms us at a faster clip and to a higher level than just sort of trudging along in ordinary reality. But the individual that you are and that I am, that we bring to the story is key. So in one of the groups, somebody was saying that they think that the greatest spiritual leader on the planet right now is Oprah Winfrey. Okay? And they were talking about this, and I don't disagree. But then they said something. I said, wait a minute. They said, so I'm going to practice Oprahism. Or they could have been a Winfreyite. They're going to practice Oprahism, and they're going to work to make sure that everybody hears what Oprah has had to say about this, that, or the other thing. And I'm thinking, you know who would have a real problem with that? Oprah. Okay? I haven't asked her. I don't know her. It's a goal. But I know what she'd say is, you tell your truth. You go be you. You go be you. Because you have a story. You have a unique process that the world needs to hear. She said, I don't need cheerleaders. I don't need cheerleaders. You go forth and you do this thing. So I made a list of several points that I'm just now getting to, but I'm going to go through them quickly so you can get about your brunch. I am more than I seem. So I asked myself, where is that more of me located? Is it in my wallet? Is it in my shoes? Is it in my... No, seriously, is it in my intellect, my vast education? Is it in my sympathy, my emotional side? Where is that more of me located? How can I go there? Where is that more of me located? It's located wherever it is now. It's located in the unseen part of you. It's located in the part of you that is that point in the circle that is present everywhere all at once. You live in infinite wisdom. You live in infinite unmediated wisdom. It's immediately available to you right now in this moment. That's where the more of you is located. How can I find where that more is? Through prayer and meditation. When Danielle says that Lisa has mornings and David has evenings on Facebook doing these readings, they're not doing this as some kind of penance. They've been doing it since the start of the pandemic. I mean, the day, really, that we shut down this place, they created this spiritual service for themselves, but they're not doing it in this kind of slavish, sad fashion where they have... No, they're doing this for them. They might not tell you this, but yeah, actually they would. They're doing this for them because every day they get to get up and you hold them accountable. They get to get up and take a book, a good book, and read a passage of it and think about what it means. And say that to the camera. And if they ever don't feel like doing it, because it's raining or it's Tuesday or they have a cold or they've had surgery or anything else, if they ever don't feel like doing it, they know they have to because they've made the commitment to do it because they know the people are going to be sitting there waiting to see it. So what they did for themselves is create an accountability system to show up for spiritual practice. This is what each of us needs. Maybe it involves other people. Maybe it involves being online or something where people can see that you're there. Maybe it doesn't. But the point is that if you want to know more about your spiritual life, you're not going to get it from playing Wordle. And I'm into Wordle now. Wordle is cool. Wordle is the new Sudoku. Sudoku was great for a long time, but you kind of get to where, but Wordle is, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to, certainly not going to get it from watching the news. Not going to get it from just going through the same old squirrel cage kind of mental processing. Needs something new. So we go to the spiritual practice of prayer and meditation. If you don't know how to meditate, just start. Just start. And you'll sit there and like, am I really meditating, or am I thinking about meditating, or how it's just supposed to work? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's like the Wright brothers. This just came to me. It's like the Wright brothers saying, will they serve hot meals on planes? Or will eventually it just be peanuts? They didn't go there. Okay? They had a greater concern, was like, will it stay in the air for more than 30 feet, And they can work out the details. If this thing really takes off, they can work out the details a century from now, for crying out loud. So meditation will teach you how to do it. It will teach itself to you if you just start doing it. Affirmative prayer, pretty much so, especially when you realize that we've always been praying about something from a place within our own being. That worry is affirmative prayer turned inside out. Or as I said during the week, it's treatment from hell. Worry is where you sit. There's no life, and that life is shot, and that life is and therefore there's nothing for me. I mean, big fat nothing. And about that, I am deeply resentful. And so I release this word, I jettison this word now, out the window. Defenestrate. Isn't that a great word? You just throw something out the window. Out the window with this thing, And we've been doing that, a lot of us, by habit for a very long time, not knowing that it was going anywhere, not knowing that it was making a difference. But it was, because the same neutral, receptive spiritual laws, taking it in and saying, fine, okay, no problem, can do. That's all the law says. Can do and will do. And off it goes with it. How do I go there? To the source of my own being. Through spiritual practice, with a bit of courage, the heroic journey that we talked about earlier in the year is about that. Then the question comes up, how do I get back? Because I don't want to stay there out in outer space with all this. I got stuff to do. How do you get back? You just come back and you bring some of it with you. And there's a wonderful story I'll tell you some other time about Neville Goddard and a rose, which I think you've heard before. But anyhow, you bring some of it back with you into ordinary reality, into ordinary waking reality. It's like, okay, so here's this person in my life, and now I'm going to regard them as the experience, not just as some random fool, but as the experience that the creator of the universe is having by means of them in this world at this time. Look at people that way, and everything changes. Your experience of them, the words that you speak, the words that you hear, all of it becomes different when they are from the same unseen realm as you are, when they are your companion in life, a friend you haven't met yet, and so on, instead of just like, what do you want from me? And we've been over that enough, the suspicions that we have about people and the strict the armor that we put on against being hurt. If instead you just realize that this person is experienced the spirit at some level of appreciation of that within themselves. Maybe they don't appreciate their own spiritual dimension as much as you do yours, or maybe they do. Or maybe they do more, and there's so much to learn from them because they've like totally got it going on. Like you say to them, hey, did you know the universe is one whole system and it's made up of pure intelligence and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, I kind of did think that, thank you very much. And they walk through a wall. I guess they, good. I'm glad I got you straightened out. Glad I could help. Gets back in his boat. Heads out into the water. Here's this sound behind him. All of a sudden, splish, 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 splish. It's one of the monks running across the surface of the lake to ask him, how did that go again? So we have those who know, and we have those who want to look like they know, and we have all these people within us. We have ego, we encounter ego, and the way to manage the encountering of ego is to recognize everybody is either coming at things from a place of love and oneness, or they're crying out for things to be from a place of love and oneness. And this includes, of course, primarily us, we ourselves, in the way that we are. What do I do when I forget? Rinse and repeat. Meditate, pray. When you go back to meditation, you've neglected it for a while. It's only you who judges that you've neglected it. Meditation never says, well, where have you been? Meditation is not a piano teacher. You're late. You missed your last lesson. God doesn't do that. The system doesn't do that to us. You're praying. A lot of people think it does. You're praying. You? I only hear from you when you need something, says Spirit, right? Where were you last Sunday? Were you sitting in a church someplace, especially the right kind, hearing the right message? No? And here you are on Tuesday wanting a break from me. Who do you think? God is not a parent. God is not an employer. God is not, you understand, God is not confined to these roles. The source, the spirit, whatever you want to call it, is not confined to these roles. It does not have a human ego. Humans do, and it works if you know how to manage it, the ego that you have, because it's perfectly right. If somebody tells you they're going to be there at such and such a time and they're continually late, it's perfectly fine to call them on it and say this is unacceptable and blah, blah, blah. You know, this is just part of navigating, but you're not condemning them to everlasting perdition because they stood you up. You don't have that, even if you wanted to, you don't have that power. And the thing that does have presumably that power is that power doesn't judge, because to judge it would have to stop being what it is for a bit. It would have to step outside of itself to judge you as wanting, or even to judge you as thriving. It just sees each of us as the I am experience, such as we are. What do I do with what I've discovered? Implement it. I wrote these questions for myself. Implement it in the world. What you discover when you go into the place of the oneness of all things, when you go into this cosmic consciousness, and when the cosmic consciousness experience happens to you uninvited, which can occur if you kind of put yourself in the right frame of mind for that to happen. It can occur to you spontaneously, where without introduction, without an overture, you know, it just suddenly you see the oneness of all things, and while you're figuring out what that means, it all kind of goes back to being ordinary reality, which is why traditionally throughout the ages it's been regarded as something like a psychotic break. When in fact, it's the healthiest thing there is. Well, what do you do with it now that you've done that? Well, I'll tell you what a lot of people have done is they create art around it, they create music around it. Create poetry around it. They try to explain it directly, but there are no words for it, because it's like going back to you can understand an orange if I start with an apple, but there's nothing to relate this to. It's like, gosh, one day I was sitting there and the walls just came off of reality, and I saw into the source of all, and people are like, what? And what do I do with that? They're wanting to know what they do with your story of it. And really all they can do is mythologize it. But what you can do with it, because it's your story and it's your direct experience, is begin to implement it rationally, consciously, through each of the choices that you make in each areas of your life. And finally this. Which I can't read. What do I do with what I've discovered? What do I do? What do I do when I forget who I am? Yeah. There's something that hasn't forgotten. That which created you knows you as you are. And you can go to that through prayer, through meditation, and be reminded, you are my beloved child, you're my beloved expression. If you don't care for the child, because the child-parent thing is problematic, you are my beloved expression in whom I am well represented. My beloved expression in whom I am well represented. If we had to boil this whole thing down to one thing, which is what we Americans like to do because it moves things along, we want cliff notes on our summaries, you know. We'll take it on down to one word, same word. Reverend Arthur comes out here, speaks, said take his talk down to one word. Ray Fellis, we're going to talk to, take it to one word, love. Love, 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 love. That's all there is. Unconditional love. Love that doesn't size you up, figure you out. Love that doesn't have a plan for you. Love that is not trying to reform you. I love being part of a religious revival called New Thought in the World that is not trying to reform anybody because we've been bad and wrong. Instead it's saying go to the source of your own being, make the decisions that come to you out of doing that. And you'll do right for you in the moment. And if you decide it isn't right for you in the moment, there'll be a new moment. And you can decide something else and go from there. So I'll leave you with this for now. What I'm knowing for each one of us, as we move into a new phase of the year, as Jeffrey moves to the piano bench for the occasional music underneath this treatment, as we move to this little closer to autumn, first fruits of the harvest, really? Yeah, they're there. The winds will soon shift. It's a good time for a new start, never a bad time. It's a good time for a new start. Prepare to meet the infinite. Prepare to turn a corner in your day-to-day, ordinary, routine experience. After you do the laundry, you fold the laundry. You don't fold the laundry before you do the laundry, right? After you work up the batter, you put it in the oven. It's going to come out a cake. That's the order of things. You don't ice it before it's a cake. So we have this routine. We have this expectation of how things work. Prepare for a welcome disruption to all of this, when from behind all of that, the source of all life comes marching right up to you, nose to nose. And you realize, I am more than I have ever dared hope. And this is showing me this for the glory of all. So let's know together now, one life, one power, one presence, pure spirit, everywhere radiant, everywhere manifesting. It created this magnificent day. It's moving through me, moving through each one of us. I affirm and know for each person here and each person watching online, a sense of the majesty of life, of the universe, the hugeness of it all, as well as the intimacy of it all, the closeness of it all. There is a power that made the stars and the galaxies and all of these enormous things out there. And there is a power that is resident in my every thought, my every hunch, my every doubt or fear or worry, my every hope or goal or ambition. It's present in the minutest parts of itself. Therefore, I take nothing for granted. I witness it all. The fullness, the wholeness, the allness of life. It informs my actions, opens my heart in love, and pours through me into the world as compassion. For this knowing and its manifestation and form everywhere I turn, I am so deeply grateful. I release this word now into the infinite, calling it done, and so it is.
So it is.
Okay, your lights are not going on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now, as we come to giving time, I want to ask, is there anyone here for the first time? Please raise your hand if this is your first time being here. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of service. We have a gift for you guys before you go. And if you are here for the first time online, please let us know that as well. You can let us know in chat right now, or you can email us at info@creativelife.org. We would love to hear from you so we can tell you hi as well. And now, as we come to giving time, I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here, for being a part of this service, for sharing your energy, for sharing your monetary gifts, for sharing your love. And just know, if you got anything out of this service today, please share it online as well. Share it with your friends and family. Let them know that we're here and that we would love to service them as well. And so now, I invite you to say with me, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. I am prosperous now, and so it is.
To the building. Apparently we've been locking people in, so we want to just let you know, you're welcome to leave your car here, just come out of the back lot. Yeah, well, once is enough, right? So, all right, and so then I'm going to turn you loose into the world, but before I do that, I'm going to open my mouth and see what God has to say. All right? So let us know together that there is one life, one power, one presence, one love. And each and every one of us are a part of that love. We live that life. That presence is in us. We are channels for that love into the seen from the unseen. It is through us that love comes into this world. It is through us that love does all of these amazing things. It is through us when we reach out to one another in love, when we touch each other, when we hold each other, both physically and mentally, emotionally. So as we hold our brothers and sisters in Ukraine, we hold the space for them in love, as we do it for our family in Kentucky, as they work through the flooding that's been going on there. We are channels for this love. And the most mundane thing done in love becomes the most amazing thing possible. So hold tight to that love and let it slip through your fingers, because it is coming from an inexhaustible source. You can always go to the well will never run dry. And when you forget to come to the well will come to you. And I know this, and I know this love with all of the gratitude in my being. I am grateful for this place. I am grateful for these ministers. I am grateful for these practitioners. I am grateful for these musicians, and I am grateful for you. And I am grateful for a teaching that teaches us that we are more than we seem, that teaches us we are love in action. And I relax and release and know that it is so, and so it is.
And so it is.
Each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Say with me now, something wonderful is happening through me.
Something wonderful is happening through me.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my mind.
I feel it in my mind.
I feel it in everything I am.
I feel it in everything I am.
I choose it.
I choose it.
I trust it.
I trust it.
I use it.
I use
And
it.
I love it.
And I love it.
So it is.
And so it is.
All right.